It's John and welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm out on a bike ride today overlooking the Bow River in southeast Calgary. And I've been riding around thinking about something that dawned on me this morning when I was watching Jeff Rath in the Cost of Freedom news conference earlier today when he was talking about how much money Alberta would save if it just got out of Canada. Now, as you know, I had Jeff on my channel last night. It was a remarkable interview. I hope you'll watch it here. Share it as well. Jeff certainly has the numbers, and he had the numbers this morning talking about the amazing amount of money. I think the word $70 billion a year came out, something like that. He talked about the fact that we could end up getting rid of income tax in the province. Aboriginal people could do far better getting 3 times the amount of money from Alberta than Ottawa if Alberta just got out of Canada. But when I was watching Jeff talk about these things, something came to mind that I'd not thought of before. And I didn't think about it last night either. And I think it's the number one foe of the independence movement in Alberta. I think it's been there all along, but the word hasn't been used. And what is the word? The word is patriotism. That's the number one foe of the Alberta independence movement. Now, for somebody like myself, and maybe you, they're all for Alberta independence, you don't have to convince us. I consider myself an Albertan, not a Canadian. If people ask me why I think Alberta should get its independence, there's a lot of reasons, but I think you could break it down to a single sentence. Alberta gives so much money to the east, and all we get back is disrespect. So you don't have to convince me. The people you have to convince to vote yes in an independence vote are the people who consider themselves patriots. And they're patriots of Canada. And you have to ask yourself, as you run through all these amazing numbers and how much money could be saved and how much more money you could take home if we had independence, how much money is patriotism worth to somebody who really believes in Canada, who has an allegiance to their country and has an allegiance to their flag? That's the question you have to ask. And how do you break through that? Now, don't get me wrong. I think there'll be some people would easily give up their country for more money. People do it all the time. They move from one country to the next to different careers to make more money. But will they give up their patriotism? And that's something I think the independence movement has to address. I think that's very important. I think it's important in another way as well, because there's something that I've been watching, and I saw some YouTubers earlier this morning. Jeff said the same thing to me last night, and he mentioned it this morning regarding this petition for a referendum by Thomas Lukaszuk. I did a video a couple of days ago saying, ignore this at your peril. People are still dismissing it, and I think that's wrong, because patriotism comes into that one as well. I watched a well-known YouTuber from this area, from the Calgary area today, say he'll never get the votes. Well, that may be the case, but just after New Year's, Pierre Poilievre was a lock for being the Prime Minister of the country, and he came in second. And he was probably the biggest loser in the election, as all these people, and I've called it faux Canadian patriotism, voted for the Liberal Party because they were concerned about Canada becoming the 51st state. I think it was more misplaced patriotism, but do not dismiss Thomas Lukaszuk and what's going on with this. It could be a problem. I saw Jeff Rath, he mentioned it to me last night, that this will not stop an independence vote with the Alberta Prosperity Project, but do we know that for sure? So I think that needs to be addressed. We need to think about patriotism in a couple of different ways. Now, the other thing I think needs to be addressed is, I question the person that has allowed this petition of Lukaszuk's to go through. I did on my channel the other day, and it needs to be addressed again. What's the point in having a referendum if the outcome is the same regardless of how people vote? So we need to know, if people vote no in Lukaszuk's referendum, if there is one, does that mean Alberta leaves the country? If the answer to that question is no, then why have the referendum in the first place? I question the competence of the person that allowed this to go through. I question their politics. I question their neutrality, and I question their intelligence. And I think the Alberta Prosperity Project needs to address this now. Don't just say you don't think they'll get the votes, because these people are not voting against independence, if they vote in a referendum, they're voting because they're patriots and they don't want to leave Canada. So that's all I've got to say. Anyway, beautiful day out here in Calgary today. Absolutely fantastic. I'm heading to an independence rally in Airdrie tonight. Probably see a lot of you there. I appreciate you watching the channel. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget the word patriotism. It's a big deal here.